So first I'll be taking the NYB blurring primer and I'll dot it all over my face. Now what I'm going to do is I'll spread it across my face by pressing it onto my skin. I'll be doing my eyebrows next, and for that I'll be using the Lakme eyebrow pencil in the shade black. Now ideally you don't want to use a black shade for doing your eyebrows, but since this is like very less pigmented, you can make do with it. Now what I'm going to do is I'll be drawing very thin hair like strokes, because as you see my eyebrows are already bushy and I don't want to overdo it. I'll be taking a concealer next and we'll be carving out my eyebrows. Now I'm using a concealer that is exactly my shade, but you can use one which is a shade lighter than your skin tone. Either way it works fine. Now I like to do my eyes first, so to prevent any kind of fallout that might occur. So I'll be first priming my eyelids with a concealer. You can use an eyeshadow primer as well. For my eyes, I'll be using the Morphe X James Charles eyeshadow palette and I'll be using this neutral brown color. I'll be using back and forth motions on my crease to define the crease basically. Next, I'll be taking this pinkish red and this maroon colors from the eyeshadow palette, and I'll be placing these colors on the outer V as well as the inner V of my eyes, and will give it a very seamless blend. Now I'll be taking the My Glam K-Play flavored highlighter in the shade Ripe Melon, which is a true gold highlighter shade, and I'll be placing this highlighter on the center of my eyelids to give it a very halo or spotlight kind of a look. I will be taking the My Glam Jet Set Eyes Kajal eyeliner next in the shade Prune, which is a brown shade, and I'll be applying it on my lash line and smoking it out. Next, I'll be taking the My Glam Jet Set Eyes Kajal eyeliner in the shade Noir, which is a black shade, and I'll be applying it both on my lash line as well as on my waterline, because without kajal, any kind of Bengali look is incomplete. I'll be finishing off my eye makeup with the Maybelline Hyper Curl Mascara. Make sure you apply the mascara both on your upper lashes as well as on your lower lashes. I will be starting my base makeup with the My Glam Clean Beauty Argan Oil BB Foundation Stick in the shade Hickory. I'll be using this as a concealer to conceal my dark circles. This is exactly my shade, just with a peachy undertone. Now if you have very heavy dark circles, you can either use a concealer which is a shade or two darker than your skin tone, or a color corrector. Next, I'll be using the My Glam Pose HD Foundation Stick in the shade Walnut, and I'll be using this as a contouring stick. So what I'll be doing is I'll place this on just below my cheekbones, on my forehead, on my jawline and on my nose, and placing this just before applying your foundation will help you get that kind of a very naturally structured look. Now it's time to blend it all out. Don't worry if it doesn't blend out very seamlessly. You will be applying a foundation on top of it and everything will just come together. For my foundation, I'll be using the Maybelline Fit Me foundation in the shade 230 Natural Buff. This is a medium coverage foundation, but you can definitely build it up. I'll be dotting the foundation over my face and I'll be blending it out very seamlessly. You need to be patient with the blending because this needs to be perfect. The blend of the foundation needs to be just perfect. Also, don't ever forget your neck. Make sure you add foundation to your neck so that there's a perfect shade match. And the foundation is looking a bit bright here because of the ring light, but this is a exact match for me and this is what I use. Next, I'll be using the Maybelline Fit Me concealer in the shade 25 medium. This is a shade lighter than my skin tone and this is why I'll be using it for brightening purposes. I'll be placing it under my eyes on the inner corner and on the outer corner to give it a lifted look, and you just need to place 2 dots for it. I'll be also placing it in between my eyebrows, under my chin, on the corners of my mouth, on the corners of my nose, and on a few dark spots that might be still there. And I'll be blending all of this out with the same sponge that I used to blend my foundation. To set my face, I'll be using the My Glam Pose HD setting powder in the shade Ivory. This is a translucent shade. I'll be taking a dry sponge to apply this powder on wherever I've put my concealer. Now, I'll not be baking my face, I'll be just using it so that my concealer doesn't crease. And I'll be taking a fluffy brush next, and I'll be buffing out the powder across my face. Now, so that my face doesn't look really flat, I'll be using the My Glam Pose HD Bronzer Duo, and I'll be taking a dense brush to apply the bronzer wherever I put my contour. Just this time I'll be going very light-handed. I'll not be applying it on my nose. Now, to add that flush of color to my face, I'll be using the My Glam K-Play flavored blush in the shade Sweet Peach, and I'll be applying it on the apples of my cheek, and I'll be blending it upwards onto my cheekbones to give it a naturally flushed look. Now I'll be taking the Sugar Contour de Force palette in the shade 01 Subtle Summit, and I'll be using the highlighter shade right here. And I'll be using the highlighter on my cheekbones, on the bridge of my nose, and on my brow bones. To get that classic Bengali look, we'll be using a red lip color, and I'll be using the My Glam Elite Liquid Matte Lipstick in the shade Euphoria. You can see right here how beautiful classic red lip shade this is. So our classic Bengali makeup look is done. I'll be putting on some accessories and we'll be back. So here it is, guys. This is the finished look. You can place a little red bindi and add some flowers to your bun to get yourself that traditional Bengali look. Hope you guys liked this tutorial of mine, and if you did, do give this video a thumbs up. Do consider subscribing to my channel and make sure you press the bell icon to get notified whenever I post a new video. Thank you.